ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च अददनस्य तृणं दन्ते हृदं राचे पुदमनः श्रीमदराम्भोजो तुलिस्यां मम जन्मनि जन्मनि. So we'll continue reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 4, the process of creation, and text number 22. So as in the previous verse, we have seen that Shukadeva Goswami is giving a reason why he is offering his prayers to their Lordship. Because he says that Same Mukunda Bhagavan Prasidata, that Mukunda should please to me, who is the bestower of liberation. Because other demigods, they can give you those things which are temporary, because their own existence itself is a temporary. As in the day of Brahma, we can see there are 14 Manvantaras. So 14 Manvantaras mean there are 14 Manu in one day of Brahma. And their lifespan is almost like 72 Divya Yugas. One Divya Yuga is like 1,000 Treta, 1,000 Dwapar, 1,000 Satyam, 1,000 Kali. So this 1,000 Chatur Yugas into 72, that is the span of one Manvantar. And in one Manvantar, that's the span of demigods. They live that long. So as compared with our lifespan, their span is like a huge. And for us, they are like immortals. But those demigods also, they have to quit their bodies after Manvantara, because next Manvantara, someone else will occupy their post. And they have to leave that one. So whatever they may give, as long as you have body, you will take benefit of that. It's not useful after leaving this body. So, but whatever Krishna gives us, or Lord Mukunda offers us, that is like a eternal benefit. That goes with us, not with our body, but with us. And that's why he says, I offer my obeisances to that person who is a Mukunda, who gives liberation. Then in the next verse, which we are going to discuss now, that is text number 22, where he says, my Lord, I am offering you obeisances because you are the one from whom the first progenitor, Brahma, got the knowledge. So you are the person from whom everything comes out. Whether it is a material object or it is a transcendental knowledge. Everything that comes from you. So the verse, it goes like this. Prachoditam yena pura saraswati vitanvatajasya satim smritim radhi Svalakshana pradurabhut kilasyataha Same rushinam rushabha prasidatam Prachoditayena pura saraswati vitanvatajasya satim smritim radhi Svalakshana pradurabhut kilasyataha Same rushinam rushabha prasidatam Prachoditayena pura saraswati vitanvadajasya satim smritim radhi Svalakshana pradurabhut kilasyataha Same Rushirnam Rushavah Prasidatam. May the Lord, who is in the beginning of the creation, amplified the potent knowledge of Brahma from within his heart and inspired him with a full knowledge of a creation and of his own self, and who appeared to be generated from the mouth of Brahma, be pleased with me. Purport by His Loving Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. As we have already discussed herein before, the Lord as the super soul of a living beings, from Brahma to the insignificant ant. In the text number 20, that has been explained, in 19. Sa esha atmat avatar adhishvara straimayo dharmas apomayaha. Gatar vyali ker shankara dipi vitirkya lingo bhagavan prasidata. Actually, he is the one from whom everything comes, and he is the one who empowers everyone. So, here, a living being is sufficiently potent to possess knowledge from the Lord in the proportion of a 50 or 64th or a 78% of the full knowledge acquirable. Since the living being is constitutionally part and parcel of the Lord, he is unable to assimilate all the knowledge that the Lord possesses himself. Like one person, he pleased Lord Brahma. And then Brahmaji asked him, what exactly do you want from me? He said, whatever knowledge you have, you give it to me. And Brahma said, it will be impossible for me to give it to you, because you will be not able to bear that knowledge. Because Brahmaji has 4 heads and we have only one. How is it possible to assimilate that thing? And still he was insisting. And as a demigods, they are bound to give you if they have performed your austerity, your tapasya, or they are pleased by their austerity. So Brahma said, okay, tathastu. As he said tathastu, that Muni's head got burst out, because he is not capable of bearing that knowledge. So as explained here, that maybe we can possess 56, 50 or 64th or 78% of that knowledge, not more than that. In the conditioned state, the living being is subject to forget everything after a change of body known as death. That's what happened. Someone may have done a PhD and he dies. Next birth, what he has to start from? Kindergarten again. But that never happens with the spiritual knowledge. Like Maharaj Indradyumna, he performed his austerities and he became a king. He was so powerful and he performed his devotional service in such a way that when one sage, he cursed him and he became an elephant in his next life. But after becoming an elephant also, he remembered what devotional service he has offered to the Lord. And as all of you know, the prayers that has been offered by Gajendra, those are the prayers actually offered by Maharaj Indradyumna, who got the body of elephant. But he still remembered all the prayers that he has offered in his previous life. So that is the benefit of acquiring spiritual knowledge. Material knowledge, it ends with your body. But spiritual knowledge, it goes with you. What happens? Because spiritual knowledge is on the spiritual platform. So it goes with your subtle body. We have 2 bodies. One is gross, which is visible. And second, which is subtle, invisible, that is subtle body. And that is composite of mind, intelligence and ego. So how to recognize that? Sometimes we get a dream and we become a bird and we fly. And we get that pleasure of flying. Why is it so? We experience that. Because those impressions are there in our mind when we were born. And mind carries all that impression for lifetimes together. And that's why Lord in the Bhagavad Gita, again and again, you will find at least a one verse in each chapter where Lord says, engage your mind. Man mana bhava mad bhakto. First thing he says, man mana, engage your mind in me. Then mat chetasi in the 7th chapter. Then he says, Mayeva mana adhatsva, mayi buddhi niveshaya. He says, again, Mayeva mana adhatsva, engage your mind in me. Mayi buddhi niveshaya. Niveshaya means invest. Invest your intelligence acquiring knowledge about me. Because that's what carried by them in the next life. You may have different gross bodies in different lifetimes, but you have a same subtle body, that is mind, intelligence and ego with you. Unless and until you get liberated from this material world. So if you really want to get liberated, just not from this body, from the material world, then what do you have to do? Exactly. Vyavasayatmaka buddhi ekerah kurunandana. What Lord says? Focus your intelligence. Because intelligence is subtler than this body. Mind, intelligence and then ego. Intelligence is subtler than the mind. Because mind is considered as a sense. But intelligence is beyond that. So if you focus your intelligence in Krishna consciousness, then what happens? That carries the impression in next life. And that's what we can see, the science of reincarnation. Like Maharaj Jad Bharat. He was King Bharat. After his name only the Bharatvarsha got the name as Bharatvarsha. So that King Bharat, in his next life he became a deer. He remembered in that lifetime what mistake he has done in previous one. So he just followed the track where all the rishis were staying and doing Hari Katha, Hari Bhajan. And in that lifetime he associated with them. So taking association of devotees, there is no bar of which kind of a body you have, which nationality you are born of. There is no difference unless and until you have inclination to hear about the Lord. So here, in the form of a deer, he heard the Krishna Katha. Next life he got the body of a Brahmana. And that lifetime he made it out. I don't want to commit that same silly mistakes what I have done in my previous. And then he dedicated his whole life just to think and focus on their Lordship. And rest is history, all we know. That's why it is important to engage our subtle body in Krishna's service. How to do that? First, engage your gross body. Once this body gets habituated, see, all our vratas, they are meant for like a week, 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Why is it so? You may be knowing because you are quite elderly. You must be having some experience. Why is it so? Is there any particular reason? How many of you have taken Ayurvedic medicines? You have taken. Generally, how minimum course for how many days?
It's 7 days, 21, 14 days, 21 days.
Why is it so? Because that's the pattern when our body gets adapted to something. Even medical science has found it out that the modern science, that they think that every 7 years we change all the tissues in our body. So every 7 years we have a new body. In this fraction of 7, everything gets changed, everything gets habituated. So once if you follow certain thing for 21 days, that becomes your second nature. And you follow it. And that's why they should do it for 7 days, do it for 14 days, or do it for 21 days. So that no need to force yourself then, because that get impregnate in your mind. And it becomes a subtle nature. And subtly you get provoked to do that thing. And that's why all these vratas, festivals, they comes in this particular way. We follow like a Jhulan Yatra for 7 days, then any vrata for 7 days or like that. Because that gives impression on your mind, intelligence. And then ego get Dovatel in Lord's service. Ego means what? Our identity. Now we are possessing false identity. We are considering ourselves as a body. But we are different from the body. And that's the transcendental knowledge. And Brahmaji, when he was born, he saw everywhere there is a darkness. What sort of a darkness? It's not the physical darkness only, but it is the darkness of ignorance, agyan. There was no knowledge. Then from where that knowledge came? That knowledge came from ignorance? No. But in this verse it is said that potent knowledge, Lord gave it in the heart of Brahma. What is the first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam? What's the next? घेऊन ठेवलंय घरी वाचलं तर हो. That is second verse. तेने ब्रह्महृदा आदि कवये मुह्यन्ति यत् सूरया. तेने ब्रह्महृदा आदि कवये. Adi Kavi Brahma. Kavi means the person who is knowledgeable. So Adi Kavi is Brahma. In his heart that knowledge was enlightened. So that's the process of getting a spiritual knowledge. You can't get it through readings. Make it clear first. Just by reading you will not get the knowledge. What Lord says in Bhagavad Gita? Tepshan evanukam partam nashyami ajat tamaha jnana deepena bhasvata. In old days they used to use that laltan. With a knob you can increase the luminosity or you can just decrease. So same way, the degree of surrender that we have, proportionate to that, Lord delivers knowledge or reveals that knowledge in our heart. So this knowledge never comes just by reading the books, but it comes by the blessings. And what's the process of gaining this knowledge? As explained in the Bhagavad Gita, 4th chapter. What is the process? To whom? Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshina. See, directly we can't surrender to the Lord. That's not possible, because His expectation from us is 100%. Are we ready for that? We come to the temple. I have seen some people, they come and they turn on some other side and then they open the wallet and then take out $1 and they will put in the hundi. Lord is not interested in that $1 that you have put it in the hundi, but He is interested what you are keeping in the wallet. Because He says, what is your interest? You are not interested in that $1, that's why you give it up. But you are interested in the rest of that. And Lord is interested in that, because that is what keeping you away from Krishna. So His expectation that, put that whole wallet, get detached. He wants that surrender. So, in the beginning level, it's not possible for us. Then what to do? Surrender to those who are attached to Him, because they don't expect anything from you. Do they? If you go to any genuine sadhu, does he ask anything from you? Even if you try to give it, he said, forget. Because he is not at all interested in that. He is interested in you. So if you want to really do some sadhu seva, then what you should do? You should hear from him when he speaks about Krishna. That's what pleases sadhu. Not your money, the facility that you give it to him. He feels more honored and respected when you pay your attention, you give the audience to what he speak about. Otherwise, other things are, he knows, whatever this body is supposed to get, that is going to come. So he is not interested in that. Because he knows once he got this body, the suffering that he's supposed to get, the happiness that he's supposed to get, is going to come. He can't avoid that. So he never expects anything from that. But he gets more pleased when someone shows interest to hear from him about the Lord. And that's the way of getting spiritual knowledge. Then how one should deal with the sadhus? Generally we go and ask some material things. Oh, this is not happening, that is not happening, please tell us what to do. He's not meant for that. Although he may guide you because he must have gone through all that tracks, so he can give you a solution for that. But he is not meant for that. He is meant for what? To deliver a knowledge. And the way of accepting knowledge is tadviddi pranipatena pariprashnena. You should go and ask him. Nowadays they want a spiritual master who is good in the photograph only. Why? Because he may interfere in our life. That's why they choose such a spiritual master who can have at least 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 disciples, so that they are not bothered. If we do some mistake also, he will not find it out. But that's not the way of having spiritual master. Spiritual master means a person who can direct you in your day-to-day life also, because he has taken responsibility to take you back to God. So he should check on all your activities. Because whatever you do, it's meant for what? To elevate your consciousness. You may meet him like once in 3 months, or maybe once in a year, or some people maybe once in a lifetime. That's not going to save you, you know. Otherwise they said, I have taken initiation from such and such person, so I don't have problem. There is a big problem, man, then. If you read 1st canto, 15th chapter, text number 50, that purport, where Prabhupada clearly writes down, everyone has to fly his own plane. Yeah, when Draupadi and Subhadra were in the back and all the Pandavas, they just moved, they never looked back. When they did the Uttara and Prayan, they never looked back, they just walked, they never cared. One by one they started giving up body. Yudhishthira Maharaj just kept walking. There Prabhupada writes. Even though Draupadi was a devotee, she was not a common, she was like a Krishna. Lord is Krishna and she is Krishna. Because she is so attached to Krishna, she was known as a Krishna. And still, at the time of death, Yudhishthira Maharaj never cared, he just walked, he never looked back. And there Prabhupada says, your spiritual master, your parents, your wife, your kids, your friends, all they will help you. But as long as you are on the ground. But when you are in the flight, who is going to save you? Do or die, it's you. So at the time of death, who has to remember Krishna? You or your spiritual master? It's you. And for that, he can help you out throughout life, that when you can remember him and how you can remember Krishna. In all the situations, all the ups and downs of your life. That's why spiritual master is so important. Whenever you do any puja, the first you say that Shri Guru Bhyo Nama, and then Matru Pitru Bhyo Nama. Even it said, scripture says that mother is considered as the most important person in the life, because she is the one who gives you first knowledge. But she gives you this body. But spiritual master is more important than her, because he delivers you from this body. And he is more concerned than the mother, because he is always looking at your soul. And that's why scripture says the duty of each disciple to take care of the body. Shishyasya kartavyam guror sharira rakshet. And guror kartavyam shishyasya swarupam rakshet. We should take care of external body of the spiritual master, and spiritual master's duty is, he is bound to take care of your true spiritual nature. He should help you out. That's the importance. And that's why one should have a spiritual master who can guide you in your day-to-day routine to make advancement in your spiritual life. Then further it is said here, since the living being is a constitutionally part and parcel of the Lord, he is unable to assimilate all the knowledge that the Lord possesses himself. In the conditioned state, the living being is subjected to forget everything after a change of a body known as a death. This potent knowledge is again inspired by the Lord from within the heart of every living being, and it is known as the awakening of a knowledge. And that's why we say that sakshatkar. Whenever you get a spiritual knowledge, it is said that he has realized, he got that revelation. So spiritual knowledge is not a thing that you can earn, but it gets revealed. Try to understand, it's the most important thing. Because the modern education has made us that, I will do it, I will read it, then I will come up with that. No. But spiritual knowledge, it gets revealed in your heart. That's the difference between the Adhyatma and material knowledge. So further, this awakening of a knowledge is under the full control of the Lord. And therefore we find in the practical world different grades of a knowledge in a different person. The awakening of knowledge is neither an automatic nor a material interaction. See, very important point has given here that we need to understand. It's not that I have taken initiation for last 10 years and other person has also taken a 10 years. Like a modern education, you have done the 3 years course, then you are also a bachelor degree holder. You may be a master, you may be a bachelor, you may be a PhD holder. So you will be in the same rank. That never happens in spiritual life. Someone may join today and he may be a more realized than the person who is there for last 30 years. Duration never matters. What matters? The degree of surrender. Because that surrender, that is measured by the Lord himself, not by anyone else. Because revelation of knowledge is in control of Lord, not in anyone other's control. That need to be understood. So don't try to judge anyone from the years that he has spent in Krishna consciousness. And we are not meant for that, because that's the part of their lordship. Does it make sense? If we think in that way, then we will not offend anyone. Because that's not my job, then why should I interfere in that? But because we have the tendency of lording it over, so we try to squeeze that out, that chance, and we try to judge people. And that creates blunder in our spiritual life. See, each and every word that Prabhupada has spoken is very important for us, because so many things get revealed through these words. Further he says, the supply source is the Lord himself. Dhyampati, as in the text number 21, it says that Lord, he is the one who is the controller of intelligence. Mattaha smritir jnanam apohanam cham. He says that from me comes the remembrance and forgetfulness. So one should not be proud if he has a really good memory and he can speak eloquently. From whom it comes? It's he who is inspiring to do that. If he switched this off, then you may have gone through the whole thing and you will not understand anything, or you are not able to express anything. Because everything is controlled by him. And he is not somewhere remote, or maybe there is no connection, so I can go, he can control. No. He is right there next to you in your heart, So he knows everything, what's going on. We may cheat others, but who is going to cheat him? Is there anybody? No, but still we try to do that. Huh? That's why he is always smiling. One person he asked, whenever we come to temple, why Lord is always smiling? हिंदी में कहते हैं, देख अभी बंदर आ गया, कैसी गुलाटी मारेगा, देख के भगवान हंसते. That's we know only what we are, and still we try to show up something else in front of the Lord. And He knows everything, in and out. Bahir Narsimha, Hridaya Narsimha, Yato Yato Yami, Tato Narsimha. He is everywhere, wherever you go. He is inside, He is outside. So He knows everything. What are you going to hide from Him? And that's why He smiles, how we pretend ourselves, I'm so good, What? Whom you are going to cheat? Ourselves only. Because He is the source of all supply and He is the person who gives us remembrance and forgetfulness, because He is Dhyampati. Then further, for even a Brahma is also subject to this regulation of a Supreme Creator. In the beginning of the creation, Brahma is born first without any father and mother, because before Brahma, there were no other living beings. Brahma is born from the lotus which grows from the abdomen of the Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. And therefore he is known as a Aja. And that same word has used in this verse. Vitanvata Ajasya. Even Aja, that unborn Brahma, how he got that knowledge? Then Prabhupada says here, this Brahma or Aja is also living being, part and parcel of the Lord. But being the most pious devotee of the Lord, Brahma is inspired by the Lord to create sequence to the main creation by the Lord, through the agencies of material nature. Therefore, neither material nature nor Brahma is independent of the Lord. So it cuts down the theory that I can do myself, I can change my own destiny. You can't. Brahma is not able to do that. Then how his byproduct that we are going to do anything? But still He gives chance to us. If you do bhakti, karmani nirdahati kintucha bhakti bhaja. All the rules and regulations, they are the subservient of the one rule. And what is that? As explained in the Vishnu Puran. That is Smartavyam Sadatam Vishnu Vismartavyam Na Jatuchit. Eto Yora Eva Sarva Vidhi Nishadayora Kinkaraha. All the Vidhi and Nishadas, do's and undo's, are the subservient of the only one rule, and that is Smartavyam Sadatam Vishnu. Always remember Krishna. Vismartavyam Na Jatuchit. Never forget Him. And how that happens? It's your own will. He never forces you to do that. He never puts a gun on your head, say, I love you. Does He does that? He never does that. He gave the whole Bhagavad Gita, whole knowledge to Arjuna, and ultimately He said, Yata Ichhasi Tata Karu. Do whatever you want to do. Then further, therefore, neither the material nature nor Brahma is dependent of the Lord, is independent from the Lord, but they are dependent on the Lord. The material scientist can merely observe the reaction of the material nature without understanding the direction behind such activities. As a child can see the action of electricity without any knowledge of the powerhouse engineer. This imperfect knowledge of the material scientist is due to the poor fund of knowledge. The Vedic knowledge was therefore first impregnated within Brahma, and it appears that Brahma distributed the Vedic knowledge. Brahma is undoubtedly the speaker of the Vedic knowledge, but actually he was inspired by the Lord to receive such a transcendental knowledge. As it directly descends from the Lord, the Vedas are therefore called apaurushaya, or not imparted by any created being. Before the creation, the Lord was there, Narayano Paro Avyaktat, and therefore the words spoken by the Lord are vibrations of the transcendental sound. There is a gulf of a difference between the two qualities of sound, namely Prakrita and Aprakrita. For example, when you chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, you can do it for a whole day. because it gives you some taste. But can you chant Coca-Cola, 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 Coca-Cola whole day? Is it possible? So this Coca-Cola is a Prakrita sound, the material sound. And Aprakrita sound, which gives you the enlightenment, is Mahamantra. Does it make sense? That's the difference that we need to understand. Then further Prabhupada says here, the physicist can deal only with the Prakrita sound or the sound vibrated in the material sky. And therefore we must know that the Vedic sounds recorded in the symbolic expression cannot be understood by anyone within the universe unless and until one is inspired by the vibration of a supernatural Aprakrita sound, which descends in the chain of a disciplic succession from the Lord to the Brahma, from Brahma to Narada, and Narada to Vyasa, and so on. Like, there are some practitioners who have wrote books, the yogic practitioners, they have wrote books, and they have expressed their experience that at the charam, or at the ultimate stage of their meditation, they were able to hear the flute sound. Yesterday we were discussing about that. Vamshim Priya Sakhi. Why that Vamshi is called a Priya Sakhi? Because that attracts your heart, If you are that pure, then that same flute, you can hear it here, right here also. No need to go to Vrindavan and then only you can hear that. Because that is a Aprakrita, transcendental, beyond this material perception. And that only can be perceived once it gets revealed to you. And when that revelation happens, when you surrender to that. Otherwise that never happens. Because the knob is in whose control? It's in his control. No commission. No agents there. It's you and he. It's relation between both of you. But there are who helps you, they are catalyst. They are not the commission agent, but they are the catalyst. And those are the spiritual personalities who makes that connection or that reaction happens very quick. And that's why it said that you should hear about the Lord from His devotees, because they are intoxicated. So they know how to make you intoxicated. शराबी के साथ रहोगे तो शराब जल्दी पीना सीख जाओगे. If you are with a person who is habituated with the drinking, you will learn drinking very quick. Same way. Or like a pandemic, if someone is infected, if you be with him, you will get also infected. So better to get infected with Krishna consciousness and come in association with the Krishna conscious devotees. So further it says that no mundane scholar can translate or reveal the pure import of the Vedic mantras. They cannot be understood unless one is inspired or initiated by the authorized spiritual master. The original, that's why you can see, like there are so many shloka reciters or bhajan reciters, they sing very melodiously, but that never gives that impact on our heart. Have you realized that? Like some brahmana who has followed the particular rules and regulation, who has elevated in his sadhana, if he sings that and you hear that, that makes a totally different impact. Like this Prabhupada Dhun, which we play every time. Actually, I met one person. He was a great sitarist. Great musician actually. School dropout. But he was the first person who started playing it for the Bollywood. And when he got retired from there, he came to our temple. Then my Guru Maharaj asked him that, you can engage your talent in Krishna's service. No matter, within 6 months, that person, he composed ragas, 6,000 melodies of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. He was the maternal uncle of Bhakti Rasamrit Swami. A great champion. You give him any instrument and he will play that. And that, at the age of 65, he did that. And he himself, when that Prabhupada dhun, the standard dhun that we play, he said, this particular raga, you can play at any time of a day. You will not get bored. But there are particular ragas, if you like a Bhairavi, you can't sing daytime, You will get totally bored. But that same Bhairavi, if you sing at the like a second or third prahara, like around 12:30 to 2 o'clock at night, midnight, you will be in other realm. Like Yaman, generally that's the time for Yaman now, like a 7 to 9. If you sing that particular melody in this time, your mind will get totally captured. But this transcendental sound vibrations, sang by some transcendental person, you play at any time. You will not get bored. And that's why it goes. In some devotee's house, it goes for 24 hours. You can't play that Vrindavan melodies for whole day, can you? But this Prabhupada dhuni, it goes. Have you given that thought any time? See, that makes the difference. That makes you conscious. So that need to be. Singing means it's not that you know some ragas and you can just sing. No. Everything has its own time. But when it becomes transcendental for the service of Lord, then you can sing at any time. But you need to be like that level. Otherwise, just follow the rules and regulations. That's why in all the sampradayas, when they sing in front of the Lord, they sing particular melody. Like a Gaur Aarti has a particular melody. That same melody, you can't sing it from Mangal Aarti. Do you do that? People, they will look, hey, who is that? If you sing that, kahi to gadbad hai. Some problem is this guy there. So that's why this particular melody is meant for a particular time. But Prabhupada's melody, for all the time. Because it is a transcendental sound vibration. It's a prakrita. The original spiritual master is the Lord himself. And the succession comes down through the source of parampara, as clearly stated in the 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So unless one receives the transcendental knowledge from the authorized parampara, one should be considered useless. Vifalamataha. So whatever, you may be a PhD, double PhD, triple PhD. What it says? Vifalamata. It's useless. It's not going to deliver you. Even though one may be greatly qualified in the mundane advancement of arts and science. Shukadeva Goswami is praying from the Lord by dint of being inspired from within by the Lord, so that he could rightly explain the facts and figures of a creation as inquired by the Maharaj Parikshit. A spiritual master is not a theoretical speculator. That need to be understood. Like the mundane scholar, but is Shrotriyam Brahmanishtham. That's the qualification, the person who should give class or who should speak about Srimad Bhagavatam. He should be Shrotriyam Brahmanishtham. Shrotriyam means who has heard a lot from a disciplic succession. And Brahmanishtham, because of that hearing, he has a firm faith in the Lord. Only that person can sit on Vyasasana and speak. It's not a job of any Tom, Dick, Harry, because he is a good orator, he can speak. But that speaking should change, because we are not here to give information, we are here to transform. And that transformation happens when that knowledge comes from the heart, not from the brain. The brain knowledge, that is supernatural. For a time you can appreciate that, but you will forget. But the knowledge which comes from the heart, that goes to the heart. And that's why it is said that Satam Prasangat Mama Virya Samyuddha. My glory should be discussed in midst of the devotees. Because that gives the greater impact. That becomes Rasayana Kataha. Rasayana means a liquid elixir that can nourish your spiritual life. Hare Krishna. Yes?
One question.
Go ahead.
The difference between material and spiritual knowledge. I think I know exactly what you're saying, but in other words, you can read Bhagavad Gita and be able to recite it, you can memorize it. know everything that's there and understand in a material sense the entire Gita. But the spiritual knowledge is what only Krishna can deliver, that the realization that every word of it is the truth. And that's something that you can't get in your mind. You can only get it spiritually. Is that right?
Yeah, that's the way. I may read like Bhagavatam. I've read it like more than 10, 20 times. But when I hear it, the same thing from my spiritual master or the person who is a self-realized, that clears up my doubts, Sometimes I miss something and that get pointed out. Hey, I read this, but I forgot to look at it, Why this happens? Because the spiritual master has that knob with him. He reveals that knowledge to you as per your degree of surrender. It's he who acts in behalf of a Lord to reveal that knowledge to you. That's why we need a spiritual master. Otherwise, all books are there. You can read them and go to Krishna. But does it happen? Lord, he himself says, even though his mother was sitting next to him and he was giving his knowledge to mother, but he says that, still, my mother, you go to my devotees and discuss this, you will get realization. Even though he is giving directly. So what you understood, that's proper way actually. Everybody has read Bhagavad Gita, but when same verse, if you hear it from some realized person, your perception is totally different. Because that was your thinking, your mindset, and that is conditioned mindset. But when you get it, something higher, that is aprakrita, from the person who has relied on that particular platform. That's why it said, Shukadeva Goswami, he himself says, Srimad Bhagavatam, there are like 88,000 people were sitting there to hear Bhagavat from him. So he said, this Bhagavatam knowledge is like a sky. Does sky has any limits? No. And there are birds, they fly in the sky. So when we look at, oh, that bird is in the sky. Really, does it mean it is in the sky? Because every bird has a different capacity to flying, Eagle, maybe somewhere like a kilometers up, a miles up. A sparrow, maybe some 10 meters up. They are in the sky, but what is their position? Who has better view? A sparrow or the eagle? Both are in the sky, but view, perception is totally different. So that depends upon whom you associate. If you associate with the eagle, you will have a larger perception. You associate with the sparrow, you will have that much. Does it make sense?
That's a great explanation.
That's what Bhagavat says.
The information is the same, but it's known.
Yeah.
But that's the spiritual part. It's knowing it, and there's no end to that.
Yeah, there is no end. As you read, you start thinking that, oh my God, I read 20 times, but man, it's beyond my capacities. Sometimes in the beginning we said, oh, I have read Bhagavatam. To show that I have read it. But when you really read it, you think, I think I have to go again and read it. I have not understood, So that's the proper consciousness to submit yourself. That's the spiritual knowledge, because it does not have any limits. It's like diving in the ocean. You don't know how deep it is. It's a fathomless. So same with the spiritual knowledge. Because it comes from the Lord himself. As Lord is Ananta, you can't measure him. Do you think that knowledge comes from him? It is measurable? And that will fit in this tiny brain? Prabhupada said in the full capacity also, you may go up to 78%. That is what Lord Brahma, the most perfected living being in the creation. How much knowledge does he possess? 78% maximum. Not more than that. Now who has the 100% knowledge then? And that's why, if you remember, the 15th chapter is most important chapter, and we should recite every day. The Lord says that, Mattaha smrutir jnanam apohanam cha. Vedesha sarver ahameva vedyo vedantakrit veda videva shaham. What it means? What's the translation? Open up website and check it out. And read it aloud. 15.15. BG 15.15. Thanks to Google Guru. It's handy nowadays. Was the last line of the translation. Is that long? Internet is that slow?
I'm seated in everyone's heart and complete becomes remembrance, knowledge and forgetfulness.
Go slow now.
By all the Vedas, I am to be known. Indeed, I am the compiler of Vedanta and I am the knower of the Vedas.
So who is the real knower of the Vedas? Vedanta, Krit, Veda, Videvasham. Videvasham means he is the one who knows the import of Vedas. No one else. It's not we, it's he. And if he authorizes us to know that, then only we can know it. And that authorization happens, and he has given the process. What's that? 4.34. Tadvidya pariprashnen. Tadvidya pranipatena pariprashnena. See, pranipata. Do you know what you mean that word? Pranipata. Pata means fall down. Nipata means completely fall down. And pra means prakrut, prakhara. Means when you go in front of the spiritual master, absolute surrender, nothing else. Then only you will get spiritual knowledge. Otherwise, beat around the bush. You won't going to get anything. So better to accept the spiritual, give them pressure. So that's the thing that we need to take seriously in our heart. So any comment, any question? If not, then we will have Aarti. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Thank you so much.